Concerned Drivers Association had done a similar thing. You would have noted that a number of civil society organizations have raised the same concern. You would have noted that members of the academia have expressed grave views of the insult the governor of the Bank of Ghana recently launched in an attempt to explain away his complicity in the running of our bank to a level of insolvency. And so we in Arise Ghana hold the view that when a tuber of yam starts to decay, what you do is that you have to cut off the decaying part in order to salvage the other parts. To the extent that the central bank is in this mess, the least we can do is to get the governor, his deputies, and the board out of the way so that a new confidence can be infused into the workings of the bank. Are you aware that as one of the functions of the bank or every central bank, the central bank acts as a lender of last resort? And I'm sure that you remember this in your elementary economics. To act as a lender of last resort means that when all other banks, they are finding difficulty, liquidity problems, they are not able to meet their obligations to their customers, they rely on the central bank for the central bank to provide them with support, with cash, so that they will be able to attend to their customers so that these banks can be saved. Today that our central bank has run itself into a loss, what that means is that the bank has become insolvent and will not be able to perform the function of a lender of last resort. That means that our commercial banks and development banks are at their peril, because any little disruption, if, for instance, customers decide to inundate Ghana Commercial Bank, withdrawing in a panic manner, the Bank of Ghana is not able to rescue Ghana Commercial Bank or any of our commercial banks in this town. And that means that the banking sector is near collapse because the Bank of Ghana is in debt. Number two, if you look at the justification for the humongous sums of money that they have used, for instance, if you go and take maintenance of vehicles, everybody knows that maintenance of vehicle is a recurrent expenditure. So when the governor of the Bank of Ghana comes to explain away that, look, that figure you have seen for maintenance of vehicle includes the acquisition of vehicles. The acquisition of vehicles constitutes an asset, not an expenditure. And so what it simply means is that the central bank governor does not understand the difference between what an asset is and what a recurrent expenditure is. Such a character is not competent to continue to hold office as a governor, because everywhere, the literature of maintenance cannot be a case of, what do we call it, of buying assets for a company. And so that must be established clearly. Now, when we say that the bank is insolvent, the central governor comes to say that the bank is insolvent, not insolvent, and that it will be able to perform its functions as required. What that also leads us to is that the bank is going to use its power to print more money. That is why they are claiming that there is no insolvency. Since the central bank has the power to print more money, they will go and print more money. And you know what that does to your economy? It disrupts your economy further. Because anytime you print more money, and this is not accompanied by productivity and increase in production, what it means is that there will be more money chasing few goods in society. That will lead to higher inflation, making cost of living unbearable for majority of the people of Ghana. So any which way you look at this, the central bank simply does not seem to understand the times in which we find ourselves. The third point that I want to make is that if you go and look at the fact that, look, central bank printed in excess of 77 billion cedis for the government of Ghana. And then after you have printed this amount of money, you turn around clandestinely to say that you have written off 32 billion of that amount of money as bad debt. When you write something off as bad debt, it means that the bank has assumed that, look, no attempt can be made to retrieve the money. Now, what constituted that bad debt? Is it to suggest that that is the money that they have used to give to the anointed candidate of the President Akufo-Addo to be going around and spending money? As you are aware, each delegate in the Superdelegates Conference is going to be given about some 20,000 Ghana cedis, and there are in excess of 900 of them. That is 18 million Ghana cedis. Are you aware of that? So when we say that our money, the Bank of Ghana has done this, and they come and tell us that they have written off some amount of money as bad debt, what they are telling us is that they have taken this money, they have shared it among presidential aspirants or the anointed presidential aspirants so that they will be able to do the kind of expenses that they are. At the time that we are in this crisis, look at how oil the vice president's campaign is. At the time that we are doing this, look at how the expenditure, the vice president goes importing vehicles and telling us that they are friends of the vice president. So clearly, this is an act of thievery that the government of Nana Akufo-Addo has done with the central bank so that they will be able to steal money to prosecute an agenda that is not for Ghana but for their political purpose. So if they are doing this for their own primaries, you can imagine what they will do in the main elections of 2024. So for me and where I stand, this governor is unfit for purpose. Number three, the central governor says that why they are putting up an edifice and they started it in 2019 when they were making profit. If you are making loss, does it make sense to continue an edifice when you have started making loss? What are the justifications for the construction of a 200 million new headquarters for the bank? They claim that the current location of the bank is earthquake prone. We know that the entire Accra is the epicenter of earthquakes and earth tremors in Ghana, not so. Now, where the central bank is located, haven't you seen Ghana Commercial Bank headquarters is there?
A huge one.
Haven't you seen that just proximate to it, we have Absa Bank headquarters there? Haven't you seen that we have the Standard Bank there? Haven't you seen that we have some schools around? Haven't you seen that we have the Ghana Law School there? Haven't you seen that we have the Superior Court there? Haven't you seen that we have the biggest market in Accra located there? So if that place is earthquake prone, it couldn't have been earthquake prone only to the Bank of Ghana. It means that all these institutions, including the now refurbished Kwame Nkrumah Memorial Park, are all earthquake prone. Do you know that we have Yoko and the Commission on Human Rights there? You want to say that the central bank governor and his staff are more important than the Chief Justice, who is ranked number 3 or number 4 in this country in terms of hierarchy? So certainly, earthquake cannot be used as a justification for the relocation of our headquarters of the Bank of Ghana. Number 2, another justification they have put up is that why they want our bank to look like that which is in Nigeria or in Senegal, because they are hoping that one day when West Africa is having a currency, Ghana can bid to host the headquarters of that West African currency or monetary zone. Is this not frivolous? Why are you not hosting the African monetary zone and you are hosting West African monetary zone? In any case, if you look at the buoyancy of the Nigerian economy and you look at the buoyancy of the Senegalese economy, is that the same of the Ghanaian economy that has been run down not only by the governor of the Bank of Ghana but also by the Minister for Finance? So you see the trivia in which we do this. And then they come and tell you that because they have started the project, even in the face of the difficulties that we find ourselves, they will have to continue with the project. How come that projects like the Jake Obichebe-Lamte interchange has stalled? How come that many other projects have stalled? They have stalled because we have run our nation into grave difficulties. And all advice shows that if we don't discontinue some of these projects for now, our country will be left with nothing. So the Bank of Ghana cannot claim that they are not in the same crisis that we find ourselves. And so we think that it is time for us to matter to point out our distaste for the state in which we find our nation, and that if we are not careful, the banking sector will collapse completely. The central bank's power to supervise now has diminished completely. This is a bank that could close down banks that even did not have liquidity difficulties, such as Heritage Bank. Today, the bank cannot go out there to compel any commercial bank to comply with the rules because they themselves have violated violently the rules of engagement of a central bank. The best we can do is to let Addison, his deputies, and the board to leave so that new set of people can come and inject confidence in it. So this morning we are on our way to meet with the police to iron out whatever nuances there will be to our planned occupation of the Bank of Ghana, and then we intend to do that immediately after this. You know, the route is already established by the minority in Parliament, and we are comfortable with the route, so that from Parliament House we'll turn and then move all the way to the Mokola area, and then we'll end up at the Bank of Ghana, and then where we will continue to pick it for some time.
And that's for 1 day, or how many days are you planning to do that?
For now, there are various views. We either go the Raila Odinga way, say that every Tuesday we can go on the demonstration and occupy the Bank of Ghana until such a day that the governor and his deputies find it fit to respond or to yield to the pressure from the citizens of this nation. Or we can do it every other week, or we can do it continuously until such a time. So these are all options available after we have some meetings. So we were asked to go and reflect upon it, and then we can come and see what strategy we will adopt that will best suit us.
And I'm reading from the statement of the governor that he delivered at that press conference. And it says, the debt included all the legacy debts of the government of Ghana dating back to 1992 and included the accrued overdraft of 2022, overdraft to Cocoa Board, the COVID-19 bond, and the BOG holdings of Telecom Malaysia bonds and Tema Oil refinery bonds issued by government. As of 2015, the accumulated claims on government and Cocoa Board were about 13 billion cedis. The debt, therefore, is not about recent debt alone. Almost all lending from the IMF, including the Extended Credit Facility and Rapid Credit Facility during the COVID-19 pandemic, and all financial sector resolution bonds have all been added as Bank of Ghana lending to government.
Ghana, was there a Bank of Ghana report in 2021?
Yes.
Did this capture any of these things as the governor is reflecting? Was there a report in the year 2020? So annually there have always been a report. So where is this lie coming from? In any case, this governor still have the strength to be talking about COVID-19. Didn't COVID-19 give us a surplus? Didn't the Minister for Finance go to Parliament to tell us that we received so much money for COVID-19 to the extent that we had to use part of COVID-19 money to go and create a new bank called the National Development Bank? Are you aware of that? So why is COVID-19 one of the crises that hit the Bank of Ghana to the extent that the governor is telling us this lie that he has you have just read? Bottom line is that the governor simply does not understand even the difference between an asset and a recurrent expenditure. That is why maintenance of vehicles, he says that new vehicles is part of it. I don't know where that is done in any, and this is talking about central bank. And I don't know that after you have made loss, you can still claim that you are solvent. Because a loss is a minus on your account, not so. So when you do not have, how do you say that you are capable of supporting other banks.
On the matter of their solvency, they said this is not their opinion. This was the not all their opinion alone, but also the opinion of the IMF Technical Assistance Mission that did the validation. It was of the opinion that they were still policy solvent.
Policy solvent, but not liquidity solvent. I hope you get the difference. Policy solvency is different from liquidity solvency. One of the policy solvency could be that the bank has capacity to print more money. It's a policy of the bank can decide to use that tool. But in printing more money, everyone knows that will amount to a situation where you have more money into the system than goods and services within the system. And the multiplier effect is unimaginable. But liquidity solvency is not the same thing as policy solvency. What we are confronted now is that the Bank of Ghana is liquidity insolvent.
Ghana's gold. Radio gold.
I don't know whether you get my explanation.
Yes, I do.
And so I'm not going to run away from the fact that they could be policy solvent. But are they liquidity solvent as well? Certainly not. From the report, it's obvious that they are not liquidity solvent. The commercial banks will not be needing policy solvency when they have to rely on the Bank of Ghana as a lender of last resort. They will be needing liquidity. And here we are. The sea is dry, and you are asking whether the fish are surviving. How is that going to happen? Well, there must be water for the fish to survive. The Bank of Ghana is the sea, and it is dry. So how do you expect the commercial bank to survive?
So to you, who should be going? And are you surprised that it's still a matter that is being dragged, even though the Bank of Ghana admits the losses and the questions being raised? That
how can I be surprised when my narrow thinking is that this is money that has been stolen and given to probably the president's anointed candidate in the flag bearer contest of the New Patriotic Party to go around to spend? As we have already gathered, as I told you, news is that those who are for the vice president, and the vice president on election day is going to spend 20,000 each on the over 900 delegates. Right? If that is true, just multiply 20,000 by 900. You are getting 18 million Ghana cedis.
20,000 cedis.
Yes.
The old cedis or the new cedis?
20,000 Ghana cedis.
Each delegate.
Yes.
Super delegates election.
Yes, just the super delegates election alone. Obviously, the vice president from every check does not receive that amount of money. We have not seen the vice president launch a campaign to raise funds. I think that the only person that probably has launched, or two of them, is Kwabena Ajapong,
okay,
and of course, Alan Chiremanten. Even that, I doubt whether they are in a position to supply this quantum of money to each delegate. And so when our money is missing at the Bank of Ghana, we can begin to point that these are some of the areas our monies have been sent to. And because it has been sent to, the president cannot make a bold pronouncement as John Mahama did. You remember John Mahama in Parliament said that why? But for the laws that you Parliament passed, I would have sacked Dr. Wampa. And Dr. Wampa got the message clear, and he resigned. Soon after he resigned, you could see a soaring of our economy, the rebuilding of our economy, and of course, the stability of our currency, because the markets responded. Our president cannot do so because he knows where the money is gone to.
Well, Oh, I guess we'll have more conversations on it now that you're going to meet the police. Thank you very much for speaking to us, Comrade.
Thank you for having me.
Comrade Bernard Mornah is a leading member of Arise Ghana and, of course, convener of Justice for Ghana. Was speaking to us on this matter where we are. The demo is on. Because the man says the man from the way he's sounding, he doesn't plan to go anywhere. He likes where he is. He's comfortable enough. He won't go. So this is from Wills Bonny, who says these MPP men are very dangerous. I have no sympathy for Ghanaians. They can set the BOG building ablaze. So now, are you asking about why the MPP members don't want to leave office, even though they are not performing well? The answer is because Ghanaians are. If I say that, I'll add myself to the. I don't like it when people say Ghanaians are, and then you put me into the topic, the group nicely. You say Ghanaians are cowards, and I go in talking but can't act. Have a blessed day with the team. I don't think so. I disagree with you, Wills Bonny, and you are also Ghanaian. Some taking us to 16 minutes past 9. We're joined on the line by Honorable Nilante Van der Poel, who's Member of Parliament for Dudu. And I recall vividly, I think the very first press conference that was addressed, it was one of the MPs that was present at that press conference. Thank you very much for your time. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How are you, my brother?
I'm doing well, and I hope you are well too.
By the grace of God Almighty, we are looking.
Well, we've gotten to the point where we're getting close to the 21 days that you're giving the governor. The governor has jumped into self-defense mode. So far, what do you think of the defense he's putting up? That I had to do that. The IMF think I'm still in a position to do my job, and so the Bank of Ghana wouldn't have difficulties. What do you say to that?
Well, once again, let me say thank you to all of you there, and also good morning to all your listeners. It's simple. His excuses and reasons are very tangible, and it's lame. I don't think he has offered, up to now, he has offered any tangible reason why he should continue to stay in office. I don't think he has offered any tenable excuse for doing what he did. And I don't think he has done himself any good with the recent press conference he did. We are still stuck to our guns. We are demanding that he resigns together with his deputies, because if they've done anything at all, they've worsened the situation. Our fears have gone higher and become more severe than we had in the past. Let me say this. We are saying, in the interest of Mother Ghana, in the interest of our central bank, to bring back the confidence of Ghanaians in the central bank, in the finance sector, and in the economy, he must go. He is one of the people who took the decision to collapse people's banks for not meeting the capital threshold. And if he, the same regulator, has become indebted, has become insolvent today, then he doesn't deserve to be sitting at that place. And whether he likes it or not, the Ghanaians have something they say, Oya Shian Obaya. And he understands it.
Please repeat that again. You said
Oya Shian Obaya. I know you don't understand Ghana, so you can get Eric to explain to you.
So whether he likes it or not, he'll go.
He'll go, yes. Because he will not have his peace of mind if he doesn't leave. We're going to continue to picket at the place for as long as he stays in office. This is going to be worse than what happened in France and other places. We will stay there, rain or shine. We shall stay there until he leaves.
And I guess from your press conference, you are not only asking him to go, you're asking his deputies to follow?
Yes, didn't take those decisions alone. You see, the reason why we are now focusing on him is because constitutionally he has every right and authority and the mandate to reject those irresponsible demands of Ken Ofori-Atta to print money for the government against the existing regulation. He went beyond the limit. He's gone outside the permission granted under extreme circumstances of 5% of the previous year's total revenue. He went far, far beyond it. And so if we are even not asking that he should be prosecuted now, and we are only asking him to leave, I think he better leave.
But he's insisted that he's broken no law.
Well, when in 2025, Jomama's NDC government comes to power and is put before the law court, he should go and say it's there that he has not broken any law.
Oh, so
because whether he likes it or not, he will face it when government changes hands.
Oh, for you can't get that accountability from him now. The only thing you can get is resignation.
For now, the only thing we can call for is resignation because Nana Akufo-Addo will not be ready to prosecute him. For now, they will cover him. For now, they will clear him. And for now, they will protect him. Because they asked him to do that. And he has irresponsibly done what is wrong under his mandate. He has set aside the freedom and the independence, the autonomy granted him under the Constitution, and responded to an irresponsible call to do what is wrong. And at his age, doing what is wrong cannot be excused, especially at his level. Because he knows, he has read the Fiscal Responsibility Act. And if you know what the law says, and he has intentionally gone against it because he wants to satisfy the person who put him there, forgetting the fact that as soon as he swore an oath and took up that position, he must assert his autonomy and independence. He will answer for it. But for now, we know he will not be prosecuted for this gross abuse of the law, breach of the law. He will not be prosecuted. So we want him to just step aside, have some relief, and wait patiently, put his defense up in 2025.
For those who are still wondering, why should I be worried about what you in the minority and some civil society groups and non-political parties are worried about? What do you say to them?
What I say to them is the fact that we will continue to do what is right. We will continue to call the shots that are right, tenable, and in the interest of Mother Ghana. People can interpret it in any way they want. But the truth of the matter is that everybody will testify to the fact that we have been very responsible in bringing out all the corrupt acts of the government. We have been very responsible in calling the government to accountability. We have been very responsible in calling for transparency in things that have been done. If you look at this morning like this, we've issued another letter against the GNPC GENSA agreement. We shall continue to do that. What we want is that we will continue to do these things. We want the media and people like you to support us. Because how many of us? We are only 137. We will continue to ask for support. This picketing that we are talking about, if 137 of us comes to picket there, what impact will it make if the rest of Ghanaians do not join us? So we will continue to take the lead, and we expect that we shall see the people following us. That is what will encourage us always to do what is in the interest of Mother Ghana. So we are coming out, 137 of us will come out boldly in the next few days if the governor and his deputies do not resign. We will continue to be on the streets. All that we are asking that everybody in this country, every Ghanaian who is feeling the heat, every Ghanaian who is, being choked by the harsh economic conditions in the country caused by the government, President Nadu, his Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Baumia, who the two of them sat down and decided that Ernest Addison should be the governor, and they have used Kenofoyata to get him to flout the regulations, breach the laws regarding the Fiscal Responsibility Act, disrespect Parliament, not inform Parliament. He will not even be accountable to the people's representatives. We call him, he doesn't appear before us. Enough is enough. We shall continue to picket. We are asking all Ghanaians to join us to picket and to say bye-bye to this insensitive, irresponsible governor.
Honorable, thank you very much for speaking to us.
And I want him to know,
okay,
he's not listening to somebody who comes from Odotobri. He's listening to somebody who comes from Dododio, which hosts the Bank of Ghana. Unless the people, the people of Bodo are barricaded, all of us are going to pour because it's only a walking distance. We are going to pour to the central bank on the expiration of the number of days we have given him. And it is not going to be easy. We don't need cars, we don't need trucks to pack our mattresses to come and sleep there. We just will walk and we'll sleep there. Our fathers have done it before, and we shall do it again. The people of Ashedu Keteke, Udunia Manfo, Ananga Anate, Anata Anangbe, shall force the governor to leave.
Yo, Honorable Ukraine, Wadam for lawyer, na mibisa Ghana for the Omutamochi, no see, and Semono, Upejane Kakreya, na Omudimochia, no more jadi atu hoboko, na Mama Omunsesi Fomu.
Yes, Ada, the Biano, Yakun. The first year, Okun, and then when we need Okun, extra when we need, and just over Jakun. A year and expectation says, see, Nebayano. Uncle Banasa, and just say, the GDO Yankupomuno, Asa, Yabakoswako, Yabako, Okupa, Amagana, Kusitama, if I say, at the China, crown of glory, yes, Abaka. We shall continue to fight. Yabakoswako, Santoko, Yabakoswako, Yabako.
You.
Nancy, you can't say. Abane pese ochimi yensa eji afendo of free and seven. So make a chance to the Kojiaba. Yakojibai. And if someone say there's a new spirit brewing amongst us.
You. Honor when you ukwe, mija where the Bakuna de Akowai. Mija audacity. Audacity ni ubi a watching crassi. Now we're to a cra, no better city.
Where do you okay? And so I'm getting where they are okay and so
oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Honorable Nilante Van der Poy is the Member of Parliament for Ododo Dio constituency. His promise is that Ododo Dio will be